Hey guys, and welcome back to ScarletSprites. Today, we will talk about that Midway Blitz 99 cabinet that I went out to pick up a few weeks ago. This cabinet was, I thought, a cabinet that I needed to complete a project that has long been on my mind, but things haven't quite worked out that way, and it's entirely my own fault. I made a mistake here, guys. Before we get started today, I wanted to thank Lamb and Vipro. I think I'm saying that right. You guys are the latest people to join the channel as producers by clicking the join button. So thank you for your support of the channel. That really helps keep the lights on here. So backstory on the cabinet, because I know what some of you are already thinking. Why would I have wanted a 4-player Blitz cabinet when I already have the Sports Station, which has Blitz 2000 Gold running on it? And that's a fair question. The reason I wanted another Midway 4-player cabinet, in short, is because I wanted to turn it into an NHL Open Ice. I have looked for the last few years for an Open Ice, and I have just never found one. This is the hockey done NBA Jam style game, and I absolutely love it. Many of you have heard me say that I probably played more Open Ice in the arcade than I did NBA Jam back in the day. I was a huge 90s hockey fan, and the rosters in this game are just borderline ridiculous. Some of the top players to have ever played the game are represented in this one, and it was just an iconic time for hockey that was thankfully magically paired up with Midway, who was ruling arcades at the time. This was just two of my favorite things in that decade colliding to give a great arcade experience. But yes, I have looked for this cabinet for a while and have never found it. I've contacted Todd Tuckey, I've hit up M&P Amusements, East Coast Coin Op, I made calls to other vendors in other states. I mean, that's where I was with this. It was me hitting up vendors for games, and all of this while I continued to look through marketplaces on my own. Nothing. I came up with nothing. So I finally conceded to myself that if I really wanted this game, I was going to have to make it myself by restoring another Midway cabinet. So somewhat locally, a Craigslist ad popped up where this Blitz 99 was listed for sale. The only pic of the game was from the front, and so I asked the seller how the side art was and for its overall condition. He said it was fair, but not great. Now guys, there are some scratches and dings on this, for sure. This isn't perfect, but goodness gracious, the side art on this is by all accounts more than fair in my opinion. This honestly is pretty exceptional. There's no major color fade, no large gashes anywhere, only some very minor peeling. I mean, you really have to look at this to find the blemishes on either side. So this is a really strange thing to say, but I was actually disappointed by how good of a shape this was in. The goal, remember here, is to turn this into an NHL Open Ice. So that means I have to remove all of the Blitz artwork, which is in really good condition, in order to install the NHL Open Ice artwork. This goes against one of my own personal principles, which is to make every effort to preserve a good condition original machine. This is absolutely going to kill me to strip and ruin these gorgeous sides. And look, I know it's, quote, only a Blitz. I get that, and it isn't like it's a Zookeeper or something, but it still just doesn't feel right to do that. Oh, and here's a good tip. You'll notice that the 4-player control panel is off of this. These can be removed really easily as there are only a few bolts on the inside that connect it to the main cabinet. The tip here is that the seller was measuring the length of the control panel and communicating that to potential buyers who were asking for the cabinet dimensions. He said a lot of people turned him down on buying this because they had assumed they couldn't get it through a standard door. Well, you just take the control panel off. So just remember that when you're out shopping for cabs, guys. Okay, so let's look at the control panel since we're already talking about it. And here we go again. This thing is in really good shape. Sure, it probably could use some new plexi on top, but overall this is just like the rest of the cabinet as far as condition goes. The artwork and wood look great with no major damage or issues. This isn't at all like the G.I. Joe or Smash TV cabinets where I didn't even bother trying to salvage the original panels. For something that's more than 20 years old, I have no complaints about this thing's condition. My plan here was, of course, to repurpose this box and panel for open ice. Could even steal the 49-way sticks out of this along with the controller board to keep as spares for my sports station. I had this whole mini plan worked out in my head on what was happening with the parts from this, and I even had the new artwork here all ready to go. But alright, let's come back to the actual machine and look it over just a little bit more. The monitor is working, which is really nice. That's always a huge plus. It has a bit of a reddish push to it, but I think we can probably solve that with some adjustments, hopefully. You will note that exactly like my Daytona machine that had vertical collapse on one side, there is a horizontal line burned into the tube on this from when this tube presumably had vertical collapse at some point. It's not great, but it's also not devastating by any stretch. I think most people would probably tell you that they forget about it after they start playing. The marquee is nice and bright and up and running thanks to yours truly. Maybe you saw the last video where I went in and switched this over to an LED tube. The marquee translight itself, though, is fairly yellowed, and if this is staying as a Blitz cabinet, I'd want to potentially replace it. On the right side of the machine here, you can see that there is this metal plate, and I believe this is where the N64 memory card interface box would mount. This machine sadly didn't come with that, but I've seen them pop up for sale every now and then. There's no wiring or anything inside for it either, so probably safe to assume that this never had that accessory on it. And I'll shoot you straight here too. I really don't know what the N64 memory card interface did. I'm not sure if that was for running custom plays or uploading and downloading stats or whatever, but I'm sure several of you can elaborate in the comments for us. Okay, and coming around to the back of the unit, you can see this is a Seattle board running Blitz 2000. So yes, the cabinet is Blitz 99, but the board in here was upgraded to run Blitz 2000 Gold. In fact, I found the old hard drive in the bottom of this cabinet, and it looks like it was scrubbed of 99 and rewritten for 2000. At some point though, this was removed and the game was switched over to a compact flash card, which is really nice. That's a worthy upgrade in my opinion, and I did the same thing on my sports station by moving it over to a compact flash card. Probably a good time to mention this, you can't upgrade this board to run both Showtime and NFL Blitz like a sports station. The Seattle board that is in here runs Blitz, Blitz 99, Blitz 2000, and Blitz 2000 Gold. You have to have the Midway Vegas board with the Voodoo graphics card to run both Showtime and Blitz. The Arcade Services website does a nice job highlighting this and showing the pics of both boards. So here we are, a really nice, fully working Blitz cab running 2000 Gold with a few upgrades, but while going over the cab, I noticed that it wasn't quite the same as my sports station machine. Physically, I mean. And that's when I realized the mistake that I had made. It's not the same cabinet. NBA Jam, Hangtime, Showtime, the Sports Station, and Open Ice all use a cabinet with a longer head. For some reason, Midway's Blitz series uses a Mortal Kombat cabinet. This is probably easiest illustrated with a tape measure. You can see from the front of the head to where the curve starts, the Blitz Mortal Kombat cabinet is about 8 inches or so. On my Sports Station cabinet, the front of the head to the curve is significantly longer. It's about 12 or 12.5 inches. So I managed to buy the one sports series from Midway that doesn't come in the cabinet that is appropriate for open ice. And here's another good visual. Take a look at the artwork for the two different cab styles here that are overlapped. You can see that this just isn't going to work. So this is on me, obviously. It's a mistake and a lesson learned. Didn't fully do my homework here, and I made an assumption and I got burned on it. So in summary, I have a nicer than expected Blitz cabinet with clean artwork that I'd need to destroy for my intended purpose. And even after doing that, I'd still be left with the wrong cabinet for NHL Open Ice. So the way I see it, I have 4 options here to move forward and correct my mistake. 1, I proceed as planned. I strip the cabinet, rewire everything, and finagle the artwork to fit. I gain a lot of spare parts for my sports station, and I complete the conversion as intended. In this case though, it's a true conversion because Open Ice ends up technically in the wrong style Midway cabinet, and I have to destroy original artwork on Blitz to do it. Option 2, I harvest the 49-way sticks from the control panel for spares and install the ILs. I replace the Blitz marquee with one for Open Ice, and of course plug in my Open Ice board. This keeps the cabinet artwork from being ruined, and nothing that I do is irreversible. On the downside, obviously, is that it doesn't give me the Open Ice machine I've been wanting and dreaming about. It's a haphazard solution, and I think this would probably kill my soul a little bit. Option 3, this is the correct cabinet for Mortal Kombat. I believe it's the correct cabinet for Rampage World Tour as well, so I could convert the cabinet to run Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 or Rampage, as I already own the boards for both of those games. This would be proper use for the cabinet style, but I'd still have to ruin the original artwork. At the end of this project, I still wouldn't have the Open Ice machine that I wanted. Option 4, I just admit defeat here. I clean this all up and simply sell the machine as is at cost. Gives me my money back, and it keeps a really nice looking machine from getting carved up and used for something that it wasn't intended for. So all of this said, I hope anyone watching learned a few things here today. Definitely do your homework. This is mildly embarrassing, but I figured it was worth sharing in the hopes other people picked up on a few things here. But I'm really curious what you guys think I should do with this. I already know which way I'm leaning, and I suspect people who regularly watch the channel know that I'm not going to be able to bring myself to ruin original artwork like this. This isn't the same situation as the Konami that had black paint and a ratty fisherman's bait sticker on it. It's not the same thing at all. So anyways, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and join, if you would be so kind. That $2 across a group of people goes a long way to helping the channel out here. And I will catch you all next time. Later, guys.